That was an art form. That shows you how you can actually choreograph and fake a punch. But it takes a little bit of practice, and I don't know if you got it. You cannot take a gun that usually is mounted on a helicopter, hold it with one arm, wrap bullets around your neck, and just run through the woods naked, and actually accomplish it.
For 50 years, he built an empire on being the toughest guy on screen, taking punches, crashing through glass, performing his own stunts while the cameras rolled. But at 79 years old, the cost of that empire is finally visible. In December 2025, Sylvester Stallone walked the Kennedy Center Honors red carpet with a gold-plated cane in his hand. 8 back surgeries, a fractured neck with a metal plate inserted, dislocated shoulders that never fully healed, and he admitted to the world what he'd been hiding for decades. I did stupid stuff. A man who spent his entire career showing the world he was invincible is finally admitting the price of that invincibility. The same dedication that made Sylvester Stallone a legend is the same thing that's slowly breaking him. Before we dive in, if this kind of story moves you, take a second to subscribe to The Untold Story and hit the bell. We cover the real stories behind famous lives, the ones that go deeper than any headline ever will. Now, let's get into it. February 2010. Sylvester Stallone was on the set of The Expendables, a film he was directing and starring in. The scene was supposed to be controlled. A tackle, a stunt that had been choreographed, rehearsed, designed to look brutal without being brutal. WWE legend Steve Austin was supposed to slam him. But something went wrong. Stallone describes it with the kind of specificity that only comes from reliving a moment thousands of times. I was directing Expendables, and like an idiot, I'm doing take 10, take whatever, and I remember one slam, and I could actually feel one bang. One slam, one moment, and everything changed. The impact dislocated his shoulders. It fractured his neck. The trauma was severe enough that Stallone knew immediately something fundamental had broken inside his body. But he didn't stop filming. He didn't pause the production. He kept going, pushing through the pain, finishing the shot, finishing the scene, finishing the film. That decision, the refusal to stop, the commitment to the work, would define the rest of his life. The injury required a metal plate inserted into his neck. It required spinal fusion surgeries, multiple surgeries. The first of many that would span decades. Stallone's own admission years later was devastating in its simplicity. I never recovered from The Expendables. After that film, it was never physically the same. A man who had survived 50 years of stunt work, who had taken thousands of punches and crashed through countless windows and driven vehicles off cliffs, was finally broken by one mistake on one set. And the cruelty of it was that he knew it immediately. He felt the moment his body surrendered to physics. But he finished the film anyway. But The Expendables was not where it started. To understand the full cost of Sylvester Stallone's career, you have to go back to 1985, to Rocky IV, to the moment when his own ambition nearly killed him. Rocky IV was Stallone's project entirely. He wrote it, he directed it, he starred in it. And for the climactic fight scene, 15 rounds between Rocky and Ivan Drago, played by Dolph Lundgren, Stallone made a decision that seemed designed to destroy him. He told Lundgren to hit him for real. "Hit me, Dolph," he said during filming. Lundgren remembers it clearly. "I think I hit him a little bit too hard a few times." The production was not choreographed like a normal movie fight. They used 8-ounce gloves, full-contact boxing gloves. They improvised punch combinations. They made it look and feel and actually be a genuine heavyweight boxing match. Two men really hitting each other with only the understanding that this was supposed to be make-believe. But bodies don't understand make-believe. Dolph Lundgren's punches to Stallone's chest, delivered with full force, again and again, for take after take, were so fierce that Stallone's heart literally swelled. His blood pressure shot up to dangerous levels. He ended up in intensive care for more than a week. 40 years later, that moment is still not fully healed. The physical trauma of Rocky IV never left his body. It compounded everything that came after. It was the first debt collected, and the debt would keep growing for the rest of his life. The Expendables injury in 2010 was supposed to be the final reckoning. One major surgery, one recovery, and then life could return to normal. It didn't work that way. 8 back surgeries followed. Some say 7, some sources say 8. Stallone himself has admitted that the number keeps growing. There will be another one soon, and probably another one after that. Each surgery was supposed to be the last. Each one was supposed to fix what the previous ones couldn't. Metal plates in his neck, spinal fusions, herniated discs that required intervention, compressed nerves that caused radiating pain down his legs and arms. The catalog of damage was extensive. By his 70s, Stallone was living in chronic pain. Not occasional pain, not pain that came and went with activity. Constant, unrelenting pain that started the moment he woke up and lasted until he fell asleep. And sometimes, pain that woke him up in the middle of the night. For decades, he kept it secret. He didn't want people to know the extent of the damage. He didn't want to be seen as fragile. He wanted to maintain the image of invincibility that his entire career had been built on. But in 2024, on his reality show, The Family Stallone, he finally told the truth. His daughter Scarlett spoke about what it had been like growing up. My whole childhood, he was in pain. He did everything he could to push through the pain and be present. But I couldn't imagine every waking moment. You are just hurting. His wife, Jennifer Flavin, added something that broke the facade entirely. I hope this is the one to help him live a more comfortable life. The resignation in that statement, after decades of surgeries, she's still hoping, still praying that maybe this time one of them will finally work. But she knows, and everyone who loves him knows, that the damage is too extensive. The body does not undo 50 years of punishment. Stallone began experimenting with stem cell therapy, multiple protocols, experimental treatments. Not because he believed they would cure him, but because he was desperate for any reduction in the pain that never stopped. December 8, 2025, the Kennedy Center Honors Gala. President Trump presented the award to Sylvester Stallone, honoring him alongside Kiss, Gloria Gaynor, Michael Crawford, and George Strait. It was a moment of triumph, recognition from the highest levels, a legendary career being celebrated. And Sylvester Stallone walked the red carpet with a gold-plated cane. He didn't hide it. He didn't minimize it. He posed with it prominently for photographers. He owned it because at 79 years old, with 8 back surgeries and a fractured neck that never healed, a cane is not a symbol of weakness. It's a symbol of survival. When asked about it, he didn't deflect. He told the truth. I've had 8 back surgeries in the past, and I'm going to need another one soon. It adds up. 3 sentences. And in those 3 sentences, Sylvester Stallone finally admitted what his family had known all along, what his body had been screaming for decades. The price of his empire. The reaction on social media was immediate and heartbreaking. Fans who had grown up watching Rocky and Rambo, watching Sylvester Stallone take impossible punishment and keep fighting, saw him walking with a cane, and finally understood. This was not a character choosing to fight. This was a man whose body had fought for 50 years and was finally surrendering to the cost. But he wasn't surrendering. He was accepting. There's a difference. He was accepting that the price had been paid, and he was still here, still alive, still being honored by the highest levels of American culture. The gold-plated cane was not an accessory. It was an admission. It was proof. It was the visible cost of everything he had hidden. Chronic pain is not dramatic. It's not a moment. It's not something you recover from. It's something you learn to live with every single day for the rest of your life. Sylvester Stallone struggles with diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, all conditions exacerbated by decades of physical trauma. The body breaks down incrementally, system by system, until you're managing not one crisis, but a cascade of them. His family has revealed that Stallone was in pain throughout his children's childhoods. He pushed through it. He filmed sequels to Rocky. He built the Expendables franchise. He continued to work because the alternative, stopping, admitting defeat, accepting limitation, was something his mind could not accept. Jennifer Flavin revealed that Stallone doesn't like people to know he's had so many back surgeries. There's shame in it, or stubbornness, or both. The image of invincibility is so much a part of his identity that admitting the damage feels like admitting to failure. But at 79, he's learned something: yoga, meditation, a strict diet designed to reduce inflammation, physical therapy that never ends, stem cell treatments. All of it together might give him a few more years of reduced pain. It won't undo the damage. It won't return him to what he was before 1985, before the Expendables, before the first surgery. But it keeps him here. It keeps him functional. It keeps him able to walk, to film, to exist in the world without complete physical devastation. That's all it's designed to do. That's all it can do. Sylvester Stallone built an empire on doing his own stunts, on being the toughest guy in the room, on physical invincibility. And that empire cost him everything: 8 back surgeries, a fractured neck with a metal plate, dislocated shoulders, a body that has never stopped hurting since 1985. But what's remarkable is not the cost, it's that he paid it willingly. He knew in 1985, when his heart swelled from Dolph Lundgren's punches, that the path he was on would destroy his body. He knew in 2010, when Steve Austin's slam fractured his neck, that he would spend the rest of his life in recovery. And he chose to keep going anyway. At 79, walking with a gold-plated cane to accept the Kennedy Center honors, Sylvester Stallone is finally visible as what he's always been: a man who sacrificed his body for his art. The same dedication that made him a legend is the same thing that broke him. And he's still here, still working, still refusing to stop. What part of Sylvester Stallone's story moved you most? His refusal to use stunt doubles, his honesty about the price of those decisions, or his continued dedication to his craft despite the pain? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And if this story resonated with you, check out our other celebrity health crisis stories on The Untold Story. Because the most powerful stories are often about what we're willing to sacrifice. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a story that deserves to be told.